Yeah, man. All right. I'm recording and I'm streaming live on Twitch for the first time.
Woo.
Whoop,
I'm
whoop.
also recording.
I already said I was recording, but I'll say it again for posterity's sake.
All right. Three,
What
two.
about my posterior?
You got a nice ass.
What about its prostate?
Oh no.
We're
I'm gonna need you to bend over.
gonna get banned on Twitch. No, that's
First
fine.
time on Twitch, banned.
Right. All right.
Immediately.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast. Each and every week, friends gather around and talk about the games they've been playing and things going on in their lives. Today, I have with me Justin
Manners maketh man.
and Ben.
Hey guys, look how hard I can vomit. Oh god.
That's so stupid.
It's,
It's really good.
it is.
I'll put the comic in the show notes in case anyone's
Please,
wondering.
yeah. And before anybody, I wish I said on the show last week when I was talking about Street Fighter V, but I was literally I could not get it out because I could not stop laughing about it. But enjoy that for people who like Street Fighter.
Okay. Let me just move this over here. Okay. So this week we're just gonna talk about our personal games of the year. We do this every year. In case you didn't know.
We gotta get that clicks. We need your guys' clicks.
People care about our opinions.
Hey man, I'm gonna make impassioned speeches for 10 games that probably will be forgotten within the next year or so. So let's do this.
I'll make an impassioned speech about 2 games. And the rest are just there.
Also Destiny.
Yes.
I mean, okay, so just to get that out of the way, Destiny's obviously my game of the year, but I can't do that with this list, so I'm just saying, like, that's my game. It's been
You could technically
Yeah,
include this new season of content.
I could, but I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I have an honorable mention. You could always do that.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna start off every year saying today this
Oh,
was
we
the
can do
year
honorable
of
mentions?
Destiny.
I got one then.
I put one in there
Okay, I got one then. That didn't
because
make
I had
the
11
list.
games I wanted to talk about, so I just did an honorable mention. It's my list.
That's true.
Right. Also, hi Mike in the chat.
Hi, Mike, the TV.
It is indeed that Mike.
Hi, Mike.
So yeah. Anyways, Destiny was my like quote unquote game of the year. This is the year we started the clan. It's grown pretty well, like pretty big, pretty well. It's pretty healthy. A lot of active people. Like this has been a lot of fun doing raids, like becoming a regular raider. Like I'm technically in the top like 2% of Destiny players now because of this.
Wow.
Nice.
For just the rating. But yeah, like I'm in love and I love my clan. They're really
I need
supportive.
you to carry me soon.
Yeah. If you ever need, like Justin, if you ever want to play, just let us know and we'll set up an LFG. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So do we all have 10?
I have 10.
Okay, cool.
So, like,
We don't have
one-
Will here this year, so there's no one holding us back.
Oh.
No, low. That was his words. Those were his
Charge
words.
shots fired. I need to get a stream deck so I can just have like an air horn when we do that.
I'm kidding,
no,
obviously.
no.
We love you,
Get
Will.
the
Come back.
get like the Street Fighter Alpha 3 KO. Get that one.
So who wants to start?
I think we should do a normal rotation, right?
Justin, Ben, then me.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do that.
Let's not try to be different, okay?
So we're starting with number 10, right?
Yeah.
That's how
Okay.
these things work.
Well, because I just want to give a quick shout out. Like, I wrote all this out. We'll put
Well,
it
yeah.
on the
Okay, you
site.
do your honorable mentions because I
But-
just did mine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do a
Okay.
quick shout out for Ring Fit Adventure.
I'm surprised that's not on the list, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, it felt like a weird one to put like on the full list because I mean it's a game, but it's not something you can play a lot of.
I mean, you can. You gotta get those. You're gonna get those games.
Yeah, I need to play it more honestly. It's been hard to keep up over the winter time because like I'm wearing like sweaters and stuff, and so
You want to be
You have to-
fat.
Just
you have to really strip down to
yeah, just
actually like do anything with this.
just go in your boxers.
Yeah, but it didn't get too cold. Like it's tough, but I'll get back into it.
You warm up
Anyway,
with the workout.
It is like really fun. It has more depth than I would have expected. It just felt weird to actually give it a number, so it's just kind of here as an honorable mention because I wanted to shout it out because I think it deserves more recognition. but I don't want to say too much about it.
All right, Ben, do you have any shout outs?
I only have one, and it barely missed the cutoff, and that's because technically it's an older game, but Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, my first ever Tales of game. While unlike another game that's on my list that made me fall in love with the franchise, this one didn't really make me fall in love with it, but I really enjoyed my time with it, and it was finally great to play this game that I've been wanting to play since at least 2013 when I learned of its existence, and that it's the complete version now, so anybody who wanted to play it back then can now experience it in full. And it's a really wonderful game. As a first-time Tales player, it's a really good way to get into the franchise, and makes me know why I'm not a Tales of fan. But it's a good game, though. I'll probably try to replay it at some point.
Cool.
All right.
And number 10?
Yeah, now number 10.
Okay. Ultimate Alliance 3. Before the game came out, I assumed it would be higher, but I don't know. Like, it's really fun, and it's some of the most fun I've had playing a game this year. Like with Ben and yeah. And so like the enjoyment I had playing with you guys was great. The game itself is just okay though. It's very repetitive. There's not a lot of combat depth. Like we kept leveling up thinking, oh yeah, you probably get some new abilities to switch out the 4 that are on your face buttons. No, after level 20, like you don't get anything else. It's really weird. Because you unlock like new skills at each 5-level increment. And then you just stop once you get all 4. Like you have the ability to switch them around for some reason, but you never get more. So there's just like there's weird, like it feels like almost unfinished stuff in there. And the fact that they keep introducing new modes every time they have DLC makes me feel like they just didn't get everything done. And so now they're putting it out with the DLC. But it's also just really charming. Like the story is great. It's nonsense, but it's really fun to see all these characters interact. There's some great environments you run through. Like I love the X-Mansion stuff specifically. Running past Deadpool as he's like making a kitchen full of tacos, and then like what was it? Juggernaut runs through the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, now it's personal," and joins your team. Like things like that. Like those little moments are great. It's also the best cast that the Ultimate Alliance games have had, with a bunch of new characters to the series. I wouldn't say they're new, but like Wasp, Falcon, my favorite Miles Morales,
Miss Marvel.
Yeah, some new characters too, like Miss Marvel, Spider-Gwen. There's a great diversity in there, and the DLC characters have added even more. Like,
oh hell yeah.
Blade,
Cable.
Yeah, Cable. The X-Men ones are out now, right?
Yes, X-Men ones were out released this past Monday.
Okay, I do want to play that again with you sometime because I want to try out that PvP mode.
I don't have the. Oh yeah, that's free. I think. I don't. I hope it's free.
Oh, you don't have the DLC?
No, I haven't bought it yet. I keep saying I should, but then I look at it, I'm like, do I really want it? No, I'll wait.
Okay. Well, yeah, because the DLC in general hasn't been great, like as far as the story content it adds in, but the characters are still awesome, and that new mode specifically looked cool. But there's just a lot of repetitiveness to the game, and I don't like the challenge towers and stuff. They feel kind of cheap. But the fact that it's still a really enjoyable game, like to play with friends, and it has the online multiplayer that's super solid, still gives it, recognition. So, that's all.
Ben?
So, my number 10 is also Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Nice.
So, let's see how many similarities me and Justin have as a go. I think this is the only thing in terms of spots we're going to be the same. Just to consider my own thoughts, I really like this game a lot. It was nice to play a Marvel adventure game, like with all these different characters. I was a huge fan of the Ultimate Alliance games. Okay, maybe not 2, but definitely the first one because of how the big of scope it was. I love the story. I love it's as comic as you can get it. Lots of fun references. The combat isn't great, but it gets the job done. But I will agree with Justin. It does get super repetitive. You can maybe play this game for like an hour, and then you'll get tired, and then you'll want to stop. I tried booting up the game several times since it's been released. But I don't like the fact that you have to grind. You have to grind literally so much just to get the new costumes. They're technically free, but you have to get them. To me, they should just be given to us, not just you got to get up your character to level 70. Good luck, and it's like why? Like lower those caps. Like come on, you don't got time for that shit. But or at least give us a cheat code to unlock all the costumes like the old school Marvel Ultimate Alliance games did.
Yeah, especially when like a lot of the character challenges are like you have to use that specific character, and so it's a ridiculous, like you said, like level 70 challenge for characters that you might not even use very often.
Yeah, I don't want to use Luke Cage. I don't hate Luke Cage, but I'm like, there's so many other characters I'd rather play besides Luke Cage.
Right. If you could just unlock costumes through like the normal challenge maps, that's one thing.
Oh yeah,
but it has to be specific challenges for those characters, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, I would say just even level progression. Like say you hit level 25, you get a costume. Level 30, you get a costume. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in terms of presentation, it's really fun. It definitely captures like the big scope of the Marvel universe, especially when you go to Wakanda, you go to Asgard, you fight Nazis in Asgard, you fight alongside Nova on Nowhere. Like it's a really cool game, and hopefully, then if they do a next game, it'll be maybe bigger with a better budget, and I don't know, we'll see. But after at least 12 plus years of an absence, it's a welcome back.
Agreed.
So my number 10 is going to be The Man of Medan, the Dark Pictures anthology. You guys may or may not remember me talking about this earlier, but I played this with Jacob, and it's that Until Dawn, from the makers of Until Dawn.
Yeah, I remember.
Again, I can think I've only finished 2 or 3 of these games, so like,
yeah,
all the rest is going to be, like, my top ones are going to be the ones that I've finished. But anyways, I thought this was like a really fun and interesting idea of doing a co-op horror game, and being able to do it like while talking with someone over the internet. Because like it splits up the perspective. So like when, for example, you're underwater and you're supposed to decompressurize before coming up, but you see an explosion on the boat. So like, do you rush up to go and save your friends, or stay down and like don't fuck yourself up by not decompressurizing? And like I wish I played more of that, but unfortunately I think Jacob, well, funny enough, Jacob moved to Toronto for like a semester and I didn't even get to see him. But now that he's back, we're in Windsor, I think. I'm gonna see if he wants to keep playing this. But yeah, it was really fun. I want to see more of it, and that's about it. It's just a fun, unique idea.
Number 9. My number 9 is Gears 5. So this year was basically the year of teaching me what Gears is. Because I think, when did Game Pass come out? Like over the summer?
It's when you got it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean for PC, it came out over the summer.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And like at that time, all 4 Gears games. No, it wasn't. It was the
Gears Collection.
Yeah. It was the Gears 1 remaster, and then Gears 4, I think, were on there.
Yeah.
And so you and I played through those 2 games. Gears 1 was really rough.
We didn't play through 4 though.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
We didn't play through it, but we
didn't play it at all. We skipped it just to get to 5 because it had a recap. It had a recap.
We played another one other than 1.
No, we just played 1 and 5, dude.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we skipped over 4.
No, we didn't. Because I remember specifically getting to Marcus Phoenix. Like I remember getting that.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Yep, you're right. Yep.
There's a reason I'm adamant. You don't remember our time together.
I don't remember anything.
That's fair. Specifically our time together. It should matter more than anything else. But yeah, we played those 2, and I definitely saw the progression over time, but neither of them really like wowed me. And then Gears 5, like that came out, and we started that up, and it just felt so much more satisfying and modern to play.
Yeah, we need to finish that.
We do. What I put in my little bit here is like, everything about the gameplay like is so streamlined and smooth, but the open world stuff just does not fit the game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's why it's not higher.
Yep.
Because like we got to the open world stuff and it's kind of just like
When it's
Can I
actual,
stop?
when it's actually Gears of War, it's really fun. When it's
Yeah.
open world, it's like, take it or leave it.
right. Because like once you get to the next area and then like run through it and do all the cool stuff, it's like, oh man, that was awesome. And then it kicks you back out into the open world. And it's like, you want to stop here? We'll pick up the next one next time.
Yep.
And so it's like it segments it out into like one mission at a time gameplay segments,
Yeah.
which is not.
It
how
just
games
interrupts.
should be.
Yeah, it interrupts like the flow of the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like honestly, I think if it was just the gameplay sections, this would probably be a lot higher on the list.
Probably.
Because this is easily the best Gears game and one of the best like shooter experiences I've had in a long time. Because I actually went back like when I got my Xbox and played the Halo collection. I tried to play through some of those and I'm like, these are really dated. Like I want to play through all of them again and like then go to Halo 5, but they don't feel as good as I remember them feeling.
Just go to
and,
Halo
like,
5.
Really? I at least want to play Halo 4 again because
Okay.
my stuff was stolen in the middle of that game, so I
Yeah.
never beat it.
Yeah.
So I want to I've beaten all the others. I just kind of wanted to replay them, but I haven't beaten 4, so I want to beat that before I play 5.
Yeah, maybe do what you did here and just touch on the others and then go to 4.
Yeah. But the point is,
Time is
like,
precious,
this-
man.
yeah, that's the same way. I'm replaying Final Fantasy X right now. Don't judge me.
I didn't say anything.
I have all the time in the world to play whatever I want. I don't actually. I just choose to replay games I've played before instead of playing anything new.
Mhm.
But yeah, Gears is kind of the same way. We're like trying to go back to those old games felt clunky, but 5 was really satisfying, and we, like you said, we need to play more of it.
Yeah.
But that's all I got because this is one of the few on this list I haven't beaten.
Ben.
My number 9. This is a bit of surprise for me, but it's a first time. It's Tekken, the Capcom card mobile game.
Oh, a mobile game. All right.
Yeah. This is a game that took over the FGC by storm. It's basically Capcom All Stars. You get each characters have hero decks. So you got Ryu, Chun-Li, Jill, Wesker. I think they've added Mega Man X, and they've added new characters since then. I think Nero's in it, has his own deck now. And it's like, and number one, the art in these cards are so amazing. It's fun. If you download Tekken, it's free, by the way, not an ad. It's gorgeous to look at. And the music is so godlike. The only reason why it's so low is because it's so hard for me to keep up with the meta. I'm just not interested in playing a lot of card games. I've booted up a couple of times since I've played it. It's still a really fun game, even though for the most part I get outclassed. But it's a really, really fun game. And now they're just expanding even more cards, and more and more decks. And I'm watching other streamers stream Tekken now. Like that's like just his background noise, and hearing the music. It's great remixes. Like if you're a Capcom fan, if you love Capcom, download this game. Like I'm glad I had an older phone that kind of almost fade out of existence because how bad it got. So I'm glad when I got the new iPhone 8s, I was able to finally download this game, and it's so great. I don't really like to play games on my phone, but something like this every now and then, where I lose a lot, it's perfectly fine. And matchmaking is so perfect. It's awesome. Yeah, my number 9 is a mobile card game, Tekken, aka Capcom All Stars.
Casual. I had that game downloaded and I was gonna play more of it, but I didn't put it on my new phone yet. So I'll try it again. But
My number 9 is Gears 5.
nice. I'm so original.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything other than like you took the cake. We talked about our piece already on that, so let's just move on to number 8 instead. Number 8 is one of your cats, apparently.
Yeah, my number 8 is Gimli. No, he's my number 1.
Aww.
Oh no. He's leaving me because I called him number 8.
Cut butthole, cat butthole.
Yep, sorry. He's very light, so his butthole is very noticeable. Oh, My number 8 is Ukulele and the Impossible Lair. So I was very on the fence about the first Ukulele. I wanted to like it so bad because they Kickstarter supported it and everything, and it was extremely disappointing. So when they announced they were doing a sequel that was like a 2D, side scroller type thing, I was skeptical and just didn't really care. But I picked it up on a sale, started it up, and I wasn't totally sold on it at first because I don't really like Yuka and Laylee's ability set. Um, it feels pretty basic, but like the level design in this game is fantastic, and it really like caters to their limited move set, because it's very much about kind of like that Crash style of just very complicated platforming to where like they don't really need all these fancy abilities and stuff because it's just satisfying level design. Um, and on top of just like really good 2D like Donkey Kong Country style levels, it also has a super cool like top down overworld map with a bunch of puzzles and things to get you access to the different levels. Like the story books have like kind of two separate levels in them. So there's like the normal version, and then there's like the switched version, kind of, that's like tampered with in some way. It might be like a water level, so you get the book wet and it switches it over to a water level, or like you freeze a water level into like an ice level, and like just kind of cool variations like that, where it's like you'll see a path that you can't get to, and you don't know if it's just like a hidden path, like you have to find the way to get to it, or if you can only access it in the flip side version of that level. And it's just such clever things where like the first Ukulele, it had it where you could like expand the worlds, but it always felt kind of hollow. And in this, like, you're technically still kind of expanding the world, but it's like just taking the same design and flipping it. So like every level has kind of cool like two ways to play it, and it's surprisingly satisfying in a lot of ways. Um, I still I'm not super attached to the characters of Ukulele. Like, I just don't find them like the iconic mascots like Donkey Kong or Banjo or anything like that. But this game sells like them as characters and like their supporting cast and everything so much better than the first game did. And I think there's a bright future for this series now.
Ben?
My number 8 is Luigi's Mansion 3. I didn't know what to expect with this game. I really enjoyed the first one in 2002. Oh god, that was so long ago. And I really did enjoy also Luigi's Mansion 2 Dark Moon, even though the mission-based system wasn't exactly ideal, it was still overall enjoyable. This is the creme de la creme for Luigi's Mansion. It's so, number one, the charm. It is the most charming Nintendo Mario game I've played, and yes, I consider it under the Mario Brothers banner games. It exudes it. It lives and dies by it. The gameplay is still fun. It doesn't, and some of the elements that they added into it make it feel not completely fresh. But when you put your food in the microwave and you heat it up for a bit, it's not going to taste amazing, but it still tastes great. And the bosses are all really fun. It's despite it being a game about ghosts, it's really colorful and bright, and it uses shadows really well. And the multiplayer is super fun. Like, that's the one thing I don't hear anybody talk about this game is I played online with randos for a bit, and I even went over to my dad's house and played on multiplayer with him. It's a lot of fun, and they even add DLC outfits for the characters. And the best part is you can not have played the other two Luigi's Mansion games and just play this one. It's perfectly standalone, and man, like just like good. Like I'll say this much: if you ask me which I would pick between Super Mario Odyssey and Luigi's Mansion 3, I'll go with Luigi's Mansion 3. This game had a lot of heart to it. They put effort into this game. I'm gonna go back and try to get all the gems and everything, but yeah, man, this was just like why I remember playing video games. It's November. It's kind of cold outside. You can't really go out. You're sitting by the fire. I'm poor, so I didn't have a fire. So I just imagined I had a fire, and you're just playing your Game Boy Advance, playing your games, and that's what it was like. That's what this game. This game is reminding me of my childhood, even though this franchise didn't exist in 2002. Oh God, that was long ago. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion 3. I want a ghost puppy, but I don't because that makes me sad.
That is like loaded praise for your number 8.
It's only gonna go up, buddy.
So my number 8 would be Untitled Goose Game.
Nice.
This had to be on my
I thought it
list.
was last game you should get that game, actually.
It was on my list because, like, again, I bought it before I went to hang out with my friend, and we were just sitting in the room, just laughing it up, being a goose, annoying people, and achieving our goals. It can be a little bit obtuse sometimes, like the things that you need to do, but in those instances, I just spread my wings and honk at a kid, and everything is right in the world. But yeah, it's a fun little game. It's not a whole lot to it, other than being a dick, and I love being a dick. Anyways, Justin. Anyways, Justin, you're number 7.
Yeah, my number 7 is Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch.
Mortal Kombat.
So I've, you know me, I've loved Mortal Kombat since the beginning. But something about the series has just kind of like fallen away from favor with me in recent years. But this one really hooked me again. Like I was all on board, like with the early trailers and stuff, and like all the pre-release information. Like I was really following this game, and I was super excited for it. It didn't totally live up to the hype that I was expecting going into it, but a lot of that was just like the sleazy WB stuff. It wasn't the game itself. But the story is the best it's been in years, or really ever, I guess, because the last few have had stories.
Yeah, it's definitely the best one out of the other two, and the other two are still really good.
Yeah, but like I'm kind of including like Injustice in there too.
Oh yeah, no, if we're talking about that, Injustice 2 is the best one.
Yeah, but this I don't know. This is my favorite story I've played in like a NetherRealm game at least, because like the time travel stuff is so fun, and yet there's still actually a lot of weight to like the interactions with the characters, and like. It feels like a movie level story. Like if they just adapted this into a movie straight out, like it would work. They'd have to tighten some stuff up a little bit because it's like 6 to 8 hours long. I don't remember how long, but they could definitely do it. And like it's really cool seeing like multiple versions of each character interacting with each other. Like obviously young Johnny Cage stole the show, but the legacy characters interacting with the new crew, and like a lot of the new characters really made it a good influence too. But aside from that, just like the actual gameplay itself feels like the tightest it's felt in a long time too. Because I didn't really care for the 3 variation style to MKX, where like there was fewer characters, but each one had like more more style variety. And this one kind of still has that. Like you have 2 varieties for each, but it doesn't change very many of the moves. Well,
yeah, that's a new thing. You have 3 now.
You have 2 and then a custom, right?
No. They've officially added 3. Like in terms of like if you're playing like top like ranked, you have 3 variations to choose from technically.
Oh, okay.
That was an update that happened in the fall.
Gotcha. Okay. I haven't played it as much since the DLC came out. From what I know, there was 2, and then like you can make custom ones, which is really cool. I love what they did with the like, customized fighter stuff in this one, which is where a lot of the ZWB stuff comes in too.
Ugh.
But it's still really satisfying to like make your own version of the character that plays to your play style, and then take them into multiplayer and just like wreck shop with your custom character. And also, I put a note in my little description here about how even though it's terrible in the Switch version, this is the best the crypt has ever been also. And I really like the crypt. Like it's my favorite thing that they've added in the recent years of Mortal Kombat stuff. And like the way it's like its own little adventure mode is super cool.
Yes.
I just wish it wasn't so ugly on the Switch.
Yeah, it looks so pretty in every other version.
I know. That's the one thing like they really just destroyed in the port. Kind of, I like I said, I might pick it up cheap on PC someday just to experience it, authentically. But I'd still probably do most of my multiplayer on Switch.
You could fight me and destroy me because I suck.
Oh yeah, that's true. I could. But also, like, my girl Frost is back, so this has to be on the Game of the Year discussion because she's great. Best character.
Ben.
My number 7 is another mobile title. So that's 2 mobile titles, and this is courtesy of my free trial from Apple Arcade that I really wish I could. And everybody may know the game.
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. I heard about this game not through mobile, but I think it was a Nintendo Direct actually. And I was like, wow, this game looks interesting. Never thought about it. And then I saw that it was available at Arcade. I'm like, well, let's try it. And it's the album. What happens if you make an album of video game? That's what this is. And what I love about how deceptive it is. It looks simple. It looks okay. It's just Sonic, like a Sonic 2. You're going left and right. You're touching the hearts, and what they do with music in this game, and and with the simplistic visual style, and how camera work makes everything better. And it's so, I can't even describe what I saw. It's an experience you have to play. And go like first you're I think you're, from what I remember, it's been a while since I played the game, but like, it's 1 minute you're starting the game, you're kind of just running. Next thing, like within a couple minutes later, you're like on a motorcycle, katana dueling other motorcyclists, and you're zipping through narrow streets, and you're tapping hearts, and it's crazy. Then you're flying on a magic carpet. Like, visually, with how simplistic it is, it's beautiful. It's one of the most, next, like in terms of just pure mobile gaming, it's the prettiest one I've ever played. And I wish this is like these kind of mobile games are so rare, because most of them are like Raid Shadow Legends. Buy now, your favorite YouTuber is probably schlocking that right now. Gotta get that.
I was actually just watching a completionist video that had Raid Shadow Legends as the sponsor.
It's a fucking meme at this point. But like, seriously, if you have an iPhone and you haven't tried it, please try Sayonara Wild. I bought the album to this. I don't buy albums anymore. That's how much I love this music. This is the kind of music I listen to is not this. But there's something, like the combination of the rhythm and how it flows. It's just like, oh my god, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like at points, it's not meant to be emotional music, but I wanted to cry at points because of how, like, what am I experiencing? And this is on my phone. Like, it's like, I didn't know you could do this. Like, why? Like, this is incredible, and you have access to it if you're an iPhone user for $4.99. That's a steal for this. Currently $12.99 on the Switch. Like
None of that.
Yeah.
Switch tax.
Yeah, Switch. Hey, it's. Yeah. I'll for this game I will gladly pay. I haven't done it yet, but I will gladly pay $12.99 for this game. And of course it has replay value because you can like you get your rank per performance. So if you're like a performance junkie where you have to get the highest rank possible, that's it for there it is right there. But yeah, go listen to the album too. It's amazing. Like this was a, like, in terms of, I ultimately didn't keep my Apple Arcade subscription going, but I'm glad I tried it, because otherwise I would have probably never experienced this wonderful masterpiece. Sayonara Wild Hearts, 2 mobile games. I'm done.
Nice. I have it downloaded. I'm gonna play it when I get the chance. For my number 7, it is also Mortal Kombat 11.
Nice.
I'll just add that I played the PC version, and yeah, you guys are missing out on the crypt. I don't know how beautiful it is.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It's really cool. I kind of wish they added a little bit more to it, like as an like a light action adventure kind of thing. That would have been really cool.
Like I said, I still want like the apocalypse style, or not apocalypse, Armageddon style, where it's like you're actually in a beat 'em up.
Yeah. Same here. But that was a really cool addition to it. The story was really cool. I like that there's 3 different endings depending on like what happened during the fight, or like your win count, anyways. And it's
Best ending, right?
I got all 3 because I liked it that much.
Yeah.
It's really wild to think about what they're gonna do with Mortal Kombat after this, like how they're gonna rewrite basically the game going forward. So yeah, cool characters. Johnny Cage, like they made him like a really cool character. Like he used to be just like such a douche, but now he's actually like got his shit together.
Oh yeah, he got better.
Yeah,
Depth.
yeah. Yeah, I guess like you guys said, this is probably the best Mortal Kombat one, and yeah, it shows with the writing, with the depth of each character. Except for maybe Krona, she's just like the big bad, you know, like that trolls time. Yeah.
So was Shao Kahn and Shang Tsung before.
Yeah.
Garrett's cool though.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to add, but it was really fun, and I don't know. I don't think I'll go back to it, but it was a really fun experience to have.
Who doesn't love Mortal Kombat?
Justin.
Yeah. Number 6. My number 6 is Pokemon Shield. So this is kind of along the lines of Mortal Kombat again, where like I've always loved the series, but the last few didn't really click with me. Because Gen 6 was just bad, and like everyone loved Gen 7. I didn't. I thought a lot of the monsters were terrible, and like the region was weird. But this one, like I've talked about it quite a bit. By the way, 5th gen, best gen. That was the last one I beat. But this one is weird because like it shouldn't be good. Like it stripped a lot of features. It basically simplified the game to the point where like a lot of competitive players were mad because they don't have, you know, their favorite features anymore. But to me, like as a casual fan, it just hit the right marks. Like everything felt streamlined to where there's not a lot of like side stuff in it. You're kind of just going route to route, gym to gym to the end. But also like you said, you know, there's not enough time to play everything right now. So the fact that I could just pick it up and like run through like 3 gyms in a few hours was kind of nice. Like I put in my little blurb here. At the end of the day, Pokemon is a series about collecting monsters and gym badges. And this game does both of those really well thanks to a lot of great quality of life improvements and a stellar collection of new monsters. Like that kind of sums it up. Like it does the things well, it does the best version of the things that it's supposed to do well. And it doesn't waste a lot of time on the other stuff that sure, like the hardcore fans probably are mad about, but most people don't even mess around with. It does have some issues still. And like I don't care about the curry stuff at all. But that's really like you don't have to do it unless you're like a completionist. So it's not that big.
Or you like seeing the cute animations that your Pokemon make because you love them.
Well, yeah, and then you probably like the minigame. But I actually liked Dexit. Like, sure, there's some I'm bummed aren't in the game, but I like that you only have to catch like 400 to get them all. And it also kind of reset the competitive scene because you have to rethink your strategies with the new Pokemon available. And you were never really going to be able to keep track of like 1,000 Pokemon, let's be honest. It's just hoarder status at that point. So like this game just is right for me, even though it's not a perfect game. And also the new Pokemon are some of the best they've ever made.
Ben?
My number 6 is Pokemon Shield. It's super fucking 2. Just missed that top 5, honestly. Yeah, I mean, my God, I'll agree with Justin in that. One of the things I like to do in Pokemon games, every new one, at least since I started playing again with Gen 6, is I want to create a team with new Pokemon, with only exclusive to this region. And for the past couple of generations, I tend to not. I stopped doing that because I usually fall out. I found like one or two or maybe three, and then I resort to default from previous generations because I like them. But this time I was actually able to do it, and I love my team. Like
It was hard to decide. There's so many good ones.
yeah, there's a fucking octopus that's like a wrestler. It's like an octopus Zangief, Octo Grappler or something.
Octogeef.
Yeah,
Graplocked.
Graplock. I nicknamed mine's Octogeef.
Nice.
But like, my number one reason why I like it so high is because I love the emphasis that the story is fuck the legendaries. They don't matter. They literally do not matter.
Yeah.
One of the things I like playing Pokemon is because I grew up in a sports household. Competition was always the number one thing, and playing Pokemon games to me was the best part of it was going after the gym badges, defeating the best of the best, beating the Elite Four asses down, and then taking down the champion. That was why I play Pokemon games, because I didn't really capture everything. The stories were cool, like fighting the big legendaries and whatever, but I always liked that part. Going to the Elite Four was my favorite part, because here's the challenge, here's the test. Are you good enough to do it? And I love that it's in the stadium. One of the things I wanted as a kid was shouldn't people be watching these? Like, this is a big event, right? But seeing, like, hearing the crowd chant with you, as when you Gigamax, it's so cool. It's awesome. And like I said, the new Pokemon are great. The fucking while they stripped a lot of features, some of the features that are in there, the quality of life features, being able to switch out your Pokemon wherever you are from the PC is a godsend. Being able to relearn moves by just talking to a dude in the Pokemon Center is a fucking godsend. Like that part, being able to nickname a Pokemon without having to do something. Well, okay, I don't think the Pokemon nicknaming was that bad. You just have to go to a guy, but he was in every town, so you didn't have to go back to other towns to go to specific rename. Even though it wasn't super expensive, I love the little routes. There's so much personality in those little routes, and so much personality in the towns. Could have been bigger, yeah. And the wild area, is so cool. Like it could have been better, absolutely. But there's something so cool about you wandering around. You turn around, oh shit, there's a Steelix right behind me. I better get out of here.
That's chasing me.
Yeah, it's so great. And oh my god, and I love Hop. I love that this is this young man who's trying to find himself in the shadow of his older brother. And I know a lot of people say he's the worst rival. No, fuck no, he's not the worst rival. I love his story. It's not completely, well done, but for a Pokemon story, I like that. What is my legacy? What do I have to live up to? And I relate to that pretty hardly.
So do I. As the little brother who has a brother that's better than me. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, fuck, man. I technically haven't beaten at this point. I'm like literally on the cusp of the championship match, and then the stupid legendaries have to get in the way. But yeah, and I agree.
That part's so cool though, right?
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm about to get there. I literally just played the semifinals match against.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. This game should not have been. I should not have smiled as much as I did, but I think it reminded me of when I played Pokemon X again. Now that game, in retrospect, is not that great, but I still had fun with it back then. And this might be the same case now with Pokemon Shield. Like, I just have a big. Every time I play it, big grin. I'm playing Pokemon, and this gym music is the best gym music in any single iteration. I love it. It's simultaneously like I want to dance, but also like fuck yeah, let's go. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna kick your ass in front of 20,000 people probably. My God, I want to play more, but I have too many other shit to play. But I'm gonna try to beat it. But that's the reason why I put it so high, was because God, they almost had it. Like I said this earlier, if any other year, if Nintendo had a smaller year, or if I had a smaller year, this would have been number one, hands down. That's how much I love this game. And I only put like 30 hours into it. Like, I'm not doing anything insane, but fuck, Game Freak, you're close. Swear to God, the Sinnoh remakes better be fucking perfect.
So my number 6 is Void Bastards. This came out around the time of E3, I think. This is a roguelite. Uh, and the whole premise of this thing is that you play as a prisoner. That was the. It's been so long since I played it, but you play as a prisoner and you're in the ship and you're going from ship to ship, collecting collecting loot and getting like story beats along the path. And what I remember the most about it is that it just plays really well. Like each character that you get comes with its own set of perks, and one of them could be like, oh, you're really tall, so like you hit your head on the doors and you have to like crouch through the door to get through. But yeah, there was just like a lot of charm. The art style is really cool. It's like a comic book art style. It's on Game Pass, so give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you like it, you'll find a new, good, fun, run-based game. So like, when your character dies, they just eject another prisoner and tell you to go do this mission that they have for you. So like, that's a fun way to incorporate the roguelite into it.
But like, you pick up where the last character left off.
Yeah, so like your ship that you have, you can upgrade it, and those are the permanent upgrades.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's survivability to it, so like you need fuel or you need food. So there's like decisions like that you have to make along the way. Do I stop off here and risk fighting these guys, or do I just run in, grab the fuel, and then get out? It's a fun like run-based game if you're into run-based games like Dead Cells, which by the way, Dead Cells is on Game Pass, so I do highly recommend Dead Cells. It was like one of my favorites from last year. Even if you don't like roguelites. But anyways, Void Bastards. It's really solidly made game. I recommend it. Just number 5.
I thought I had Dead Cells, but I guess there's another game that's kind of similar to it. Sundered, I think it's called.
I've never heard of that one.
I don't remember.
Anyways.
There's something else I played that I kept getting confused with Dead Cells. Anyway.
Yes.
Number 5. I've got Mario Maker 2.
Oh.
This is kind of a weird one to talk about because like I don't have a lot to say about this game. Like, it's it's my number 5. Like, it's pretty high up on the list.
It didn't even make my list because like that's how much I didn't play it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But like, to me, so much of the experience is like user created, like just experiences in the moment, that like the overall impression of this game doesn't really stick. But like, when I do play it, it's just so charming. And like every level I play, well, every friend level I play, I should say, is great. A lot of the random levels are terrible, but like there's so much variety of the things you can do, and like they managed to like one up the first game in every way. And yes, that was a Mario pun. And like the first game was like a phenomenon, you know? Yeah. It felt like the world stopped when that game came out, and like everything was about Mario Maker.
I would have put Mario Maker as my number 1 that year.
Did you?
I said I would have. I don't know what it was. It was before we did this, I think.
It might have been.
I think it was like the year before. But anyways, go on.
Yeah. But I don't think the sequel has like made as many waves as that one did, and a part of it's just because it's been a really good year for games, and so like there hasn't been the time to devote to it. But it's just so satisfying to play. And like I've been enjoying more playing other people's levels than I have making my own levels this time, because I'm just not creative enough to do the cool levels. So I like to see what other people can make instead. But like the fact that they're also devoted to putting out new content, like the update they announced that I think is out now, that brings in like new spike options and like the Master Sword and all kinds of stuff, makes me think that they're gonna keep expanding this game, especially when there's probably another like 3D world style like subtype coming out too. So I'm really curious where the game's gonna go, and I'm glad it's got legs this time, because on Wii U, like, it just kind of came out and that's it. Like, So I'm hoping it'll have a long life cycle, and people will kind of come back to it in waves. Um, but yeah, I don't personally have a lot to say about it. I just love it, so it still deserves its place on this list. But I need to devote more time to it for sure.
Ben.
My number 5 is Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh.
Yeah, I really like this version of Mortal Kombat. This is actually the first Mortal Kombat I've been able to play properly since Mortal Kombat 9 in 2011 because I didn't have a PS4 and PC's not powerful enough to play MKX, so missed out all that. And I think I made up more than enough time with like 250 plus hours into it. But my God, like, what? It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. A lot of the schemy, the sleazy NetherRealm, not necessarily microtransactionally, but grinding your ass off for customizations that are not even that different for the most part. And you may just want that one part, but you do that one annoying ass. Enough of the negativity. It's in terms of combat, it feels good to play. It flows pretty nicely. The best part about it is when you're playing casual matches and you just put your own customization moveset together and you just try to think of the most bullshit thing you get away with. It's super fun. I really like the story mode. It's the best MK story mode yet. It felt like I was playing a movie, especially with all the different characters. It was like nostalgia trip, but also new stuff. Some great moments. A great ending, which is basically just says who knows what's gonna happen next. You can't really predict. There's no cliffhanger. Literally, they reset time, so anything could happen at this point. It's the best looking Mortal Kombat, especially when you're talking about the PC version, the PS4 versions. Switch isn't bad. It just has a lighting issue, but and the hair issue, but it gets the job done.
It's still a good looking Switch game. Like what they were able to do is impressive.
Yeah, and actually I played it last night, and the frame rate is a little bit better now in terms of intros. Like it looks a lot more smoother. Nice. Either that or I was very tired and it was all a dream.
Looks smooth to me.
Yeah, but yeah, and also like I didn't really have mains in Mortal Kombat. Like I would kind of play Kung Lao, but this is the first Mortal Kombat where I actually understand fighting games, and finally admitting that I'm a Sub-Zero main and doing his cool mix-ups in ranked matches is super cool. And then of course, probably my absolute main, my Wolfman, my my inner sort of Native Americanism coming out, seeing Nightwolf not being presented as a stereotype, but as this proud warrior who fights for his realm, and of course he has the best outro in the game where he pounds his chest, howls to the moon, and it cuts up to the wolf howling at the moon. It's so cool. I have all the other outros turned off because I only want to see that. And like I didn't think you could, like that's how much, like I didn't think when they announced that Nightwolf would be DLC, I was like, Nightwolf, really? He's boring. No, he's my favorite. He's my homie. I love him. Him and Sub-Zero. And I love what they're doing with ranked matches when they implement it. The sort of seasonal where, it's a different theme, so you get different costumes based on it. Like, and just by playing the game, you're gonna get something. So it's like a participation mode, but it's a video game. Everything should get a participation mode. It's a video game. But like, I mean, the only time I was able to do it complete was during the first season, the season of Blood, I think. And I got this cool scorpion costume, like red and black and white and red, and Katana this red and black, so now I can pretend like part of the NWO Wolfpack, and like it's 1999. Yeah, and I love how simplistic it is in the sense that you can literally almost learn every character at a base level, and it's not that hard. It really isn't. Now, some may find that critical, but coming from a casual standpoint, as somebody who doesn't play top-tier competitive, I think that's a good thing, at least in terms of the casual audience. And of course, you got Kerry Tagawa as fucking Shang Tsung. Like that's super dope. That's really cool. And Terminator's here. Yeah, it's not Arnold's voice, and the exoskeleton movie sucks. But
and he's just not good in general.
Actually, he's pretty top tier in the game. You can get away with some bonker ass shit if you work hard for it.
Because he's strong. He's not like skilled.
I mean, he's skilled. But yeah, man. I can't. And of course, and the best character is not even out yet. Spawn in March in 2 months.
Sindel's great.
Yeah, Sindel's fun from what I've seen. I actually haven't had a chance to try her yet.
Oh, I did.
But you know, and yeah, like this. Yeah, I love Mortal Kombat 11. I know not everybody agrees with the gameplay decision going from the heavy 50-50 mix-up that was MKX to the more slower-based, you know, footsie-based MK11. It's a little bit different, but for me, having not played that, I don't really feel that sort of like, whoa, this is different. You still get away with some crazy ass shit, and I've been the victim of said crazy ass shit in the corner a lot. It's not fun. I don't like getting mixed. Get off me, Kano. Anyways, yeah.
Is this the only game that's on all of our lists?
It probably is.
I think so. In terms of consecutively, yeah. I think I have the.
We all play different types of games, so.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only one that united us.
Yes. But yeah, MK11.
United we fight.
Yeah, MK11 is back. And it's portable, but it's not really portable because you can't play without an internet connection. But it's portable.
Yeah. You can practice.
You practice. And that's great. That's actually really great because if you're going to a tournament, like, well, I need to get some practice in. Let me just turn on the Switch and bam, there you go. Yeah. Shout outs to something Silver. I can't remember the actual name of the actual porting team for getting this game to even run, let alone run at mostly 60 FPS on the Switch is a miracle. Like it's insane.
That and Switcher are like the best ports of the decade.
Doom 2016.
I can't believe you call it Switcher.
It's great. It's Switcher.
That's a really good name for it.
Yeah, Switch, Witcher 3, Doom 2016, and MK11 are like, these should not exist, but they do. And Doom Eternal will be added to that list too, depending if it's...
Yeah, I mean, like, Wolfenstein 2 was good too, but...
True, but nobody talks about that game.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, Mortal Kombat! I love it! That's why it's number 5.
Ben, the company you're looking for is Shiver Entertainment.
Shiver Entertainment. Okay, thank you. Yeah, shout outs to you dudes, because I guarantee that must be a hard as fuck job.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is going to be The Division 2. That came out this year. Yes. I took time off of work to play it with my dad, and
wow. I don't remember you talking about that at all. You played something else besides Destiny that was a looter shooter?
Yep.
He was super into it for a little while.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I played it like straight for like a month or so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like really fun just going down the streets of like Washington with my dad, and this is actually the first game I played in a while with my cousin. Like he actually bought it and started playing with us as well. And so it was like really fun doing like, cause like the AI was pretty smart in the way they would like outflank you and like outmaneuver you. So like you would have to come up with your own maneuvers to get around them. It was really fun. I played this game until I got to World Tier Rank 5, I think. And that's when like a whole new like division came in, like a different set of enemies came in and took over the town. Kind of like in Spider-Man actually. And it just made it even harder, just like in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a lot of fun. The only downside I have with it is that eventually the loot started... Like, it's not that it didn't matter, it's just that it all felt kind of the same. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of differentiation there. Other than possibly the guns. Eventually you would end up going, like, full, like, light machine gun. Just so that just because it has a ton of ammo and you can shoot it from far away. And you can spec out the gun so that it would have so much bullet drop off. And also snipers are really well done as well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I went back a couple of times here and there with my dad to check out the other stuff. It's interesting. I haven't bothered with the raid. I heard that the raid for this one was pretty bad, so I don't. And I also don't have a whole lot of people to play with the raid for Division 2. But it was a lot of fun, and if they come up with some new stuff, I'll go and check it out. But until then, Destiny awaits. So number 4, Justin.
My number 4 might be the highest I've put an indie game. We got Cadence of Hyrule. So this is actually one I want to go back to soon because like I beat it too quickly and I miss it. But it's hold on. She was looking at me.
Oh my god.
But this is one that like really caught me by surprise, like when it was announced, and was even more surprising when it came out and was like super good. Because you know me, I don't really like the roguelikes or anything, but Crypt of the Necrodancer kind of hit me because there's enough like permanent upgrades in that game, and the fact that like after you beat each like level, you don't have to redo that level. You just have to like it randomizes the next level every time you go in. So like it actually feels like you have some progression because you're only ever having to redo one section at a time. And Cadence of Hyrule took it one step further to where like there's a randomized overworld that is Hyrule, but you actually keep a lot of the stuff that you get throughout the game. So like you still get all of your your typical Zelda items like your bow, your hook shot, your things like that lets you interact with the overworld and stuff. And when you die, you lose your rupees and any temporary buffs you have, which are already like finite. They have like a stamina on them, so losing those isn't that big of a deal. And then the dungeons are randomized when you go in, and every time you die, you lose the map. So like you have to rebuild, like go around your map again. But for the most part, it is a fairly traditional, like, top-down Zelda game. Like, it feels a lot more like Zelda than it does Crypt of the Necrodancer. And you still have to, you collect 4 dungeon items in 4 dungeons. There's a bunch of heart containers to get throughout. Like I said, there's all the items and their upgraded versions. And then there's the final temple that's like a really hard, like kind of traditional Crypt of the Necrodancer, multiple level dungeon on the way to fight Ganon and the final boss. It all feels super good. And like the whole rhythmic, grid-based combat from Crypt of the Necrodancer is there intact, but like it works with the Zelda skin on it. And like just everything about that game is so satisfying. I still don't think I could play it like the traditional way with, like actually having to move to the beat and stuff. But like the fact that it has multiplayer is super cool. I played that game with my brother for a while, like couch co-op, and like it's hard because when either of you move, the enemies move. So like you have to actually sync your movements so you're not like getting run into by enemies when you don't realize that your partner's running around all over the place. And that's where probably like just moving to the rhythm is better, because like the grid is moving with regardless of whether you move anyway.
Yeah.
But I got so used to playing without actually needing to follow the rhythm that I wasn't prepared for multiplayer. But like it's so cool to play that game with 2 people. And like I don't know. I like I said, I need to jump back into it because it was early in the year and I don't remember all the details. But it was so fun. And actually, I beat it like fairly recently.
Nice.
Because I was at the end and I died, and like I said, it basically shoots you back at the beginning of that dungeon, like that final dungeon with like 4 or 5 floors. That's the one time where it's kind of like I said, the traditional Crypt of the Necrodancer style, and I just didn't feel like doing all that again. But I jumped back into it and beat it, and yeah, I want more. Like, I either want a sequel or like some kind of DLC with maybe a few new playable characters or something. But I'm not done with that game yet. It's too good.
Ben, what is your number 4?
So it's also an indie darling. The only indie darling. Oh, Fine Arts is an indie darling, so that counts too. But I usually have one that's pretty high, and I actually wasn't sure if I was gonna have one until very recently. And my number 4 pick, or choice rather, is Katana Zero. I heard about this game came out in April this year. I'd seen a Nintendo Direct on it, of course. I'm like, well, this seems interesting, and of course, it's involved with digital. Seemingly, they seem to be publishing a lot of my favorite games within the past couple of years. And I didn't know what to expect other than that one hit, you die. What I didn't expect was a mindfuck of a story that questions your morality and drug use. It takes you places that if you want to go, you can go there. But if you just want to be an absolute asshole killing machine, you can also do that too. But also, there's a sweet satisfaction of like this is like probably the closest I'll get to a roguelike where the room, well, not really, but like where the room resets if you die once and you have to do a thing over again. It's super satisfying to, okay, take you out, slice your neck, okay, check this thing, okay, explode those barrels, okay, and then you get to see and then get to see that be replayed back and like, yeah, I'm a fucking badass. And then visually, it's spectacular.
Have you played Hotline Miami?
No, I haven't.
You should check that out if you like this.
I have it on Twitch, the Prime thing. So
just try it, and see if you'll like it. It's the
Okay.
same kind of idea.
That's what I hear. Everybody's telling me to try that. I'll try it. I'll try. I have technically I own it. Thank you, Amazon. But like, yeah, man. Again, I was sucked in by the gameplay, but what kept me was its conspiracy laden, war ridden, drug filled fest that was the story. It went places I didn't want it to go, and then at the end, is basically Metal Gear Solid 2, where I'm like, wait, was this real?
So you're having a sword fight with the president on top of the Capitol building?
You're close. You could have gone there. But like, it was like, wait a minute. Am I real? Was that level that I just played was real? No, that wasn't real. Are you sure this is real now? I was tripping my own balls, and I don't do drugs. Oh my god, seriously, this is the, because I don't hear anybody talk about this game outside of when I brought it up, or like even when it was coming out. This is the hidden gem of 2019, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, everybody should play this. Like, if you like John Wick, the badass assassin who, you know, just kills people with guns, it's John Wick with katanas. That's what it is. And if you like an interesting narrative, it's right there waiting for you. But if you just want to be the ultimate killing machine who just goes room to room, slicing dude's neck, you know, using smoke to cover it, you got it. If you want a heartwarming story about protecting a little girl because you yourself were haunted in a war story because you were taken, it's there for you. It's all there.
I think I might have told that girl to piss off. I can't remember.
I can't.
No, I wish I played this sooner, because if I played this more, it probably would be on my list. But I just haven't gotten very far. Maybe like 2 or 3 levels.
Yeah, I beat it in a week, dude. I bought it for during Black Friday with some money I had, extra cash that I had, and I beat it within a week. I couldn't stop playing. Like like that's how I know a game has got me. I can't stop, even though I have either like not necessarily life things to do, but like if like in terms of other games, I will stop when I'm playing those other games and just play it. Like I should have gone back to Dragon Quest. I should have gone back into Pokemon. I should have been playing more MK11 ranked. No, I wanted to play Katana Zero. And I could not stop. And there's a hard mode too, which is it's super fucking hard. As Justin's cat to another kid, Justin Cat to stream again.
It's the same one from before.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
He was actually on the floor the whole time. I didn't know.
Aw, cute kitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why Katana Zero. My indie this is my. I'm gonna give this its own championship belt. This is my indie champion of 2019. Katana Zero. Seriously, it's only $15. It might be on sale.
It's on sale right now, yeah. That's why I picked it up.
Buy it, please. I'm telling you, you are in either for a badass time or you're in for an emotional time. The choice is yours and yours alone.
So my number 4 is going to be a very controversial pick, and that is Anthem.
Oh.
That is
Yeah, I was actually pretty close to putting that on my list. It just got kicked off by all the others.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Considering wow.
Yeah, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I was saying, considering the dumpster fire that this game basically is, and no community and no roadmap and everything we talked
really
about.
Good gameplay though.
Yeah, the whole like structure around it is like solid.
I believe you.
Like the flying around is really fun. There's 3 distinct classes. There's some like really fun. I can't remember what they're called. Cataclysms or strongholds. That's what they're called. Like but there's only 4 of them. That's like having 4 strikes in Destiny. That's not right. I really hope they pull their shit together and build upon what they have, because it could be one of the this could rival, well, not with Destiny, because but it can be somewhere up there in one of the regular games I would play. But like right now,
it's strong enough that they could fix it.
Yeah. But right now, as it is, like the loot pool is like really horrendous. It's all the same stuff over and over again. Um, but what's there is really strong and it's really fun to play. I played this for like 2 weeks straight and it was really fun. I hope they fix their shit together. So yeah, other than that, let's move on into number 3, Justin.
I want to say I also hope they add crossplay so we can play together.
Yeah, I was thinking of buying it again, but I was like, no, I don't want to spend $17 on this game again.
And hopefully, when I get my Xbox One S next year, hopefully, and it does add crossplay, and it's on Game Pass, the best deal in video games. We'll all be able to play together.
I think crossplay would be to their benefit considering their
Yeah.
player base.
Oh
Yes, for sure.
yeah. Like when you don't have much player base,
Right.
add crossplay. It's going to like enrich your.
It'll times it by
gaming
3 at
audience.
least.
Yeah, because I played with some randos in one mission and it wasn't great. Like they just kept running ahead.
Yeah.
I hadn't played this mission yet. I wanted to explore.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Anyway,
Justin,
number 3.
number 3.
So to follow up Zelda with Zelda, I've got Link's Awakening HD.
Really?
So please move. All right, that's
For
fine.
some reason, I thought, oh, it was Ben that hated this game.
No, hold on. Don't don't hate this game. I was just mocking that. Like, I have this game. It's on my 3DS. It's right here. That's all. I don't hate that it exists. I would have bought it if it was cheaper.
Gimli farted.
Oh.
So this is like I think the 7th Switch game on my list, but I promise the top 2 are not Nintendo. So
Huh.
this is the end of the Nintendo games. But
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted to end it strong, because this is like my 3rd favorite Zelda game, and this is definitely the best version of that game. That's why it's so high up, because like I already love this game. Like it would have been on the list no matter what. But the fact that it's like a really good version of it puts it this high, even though it's a remake. Because it's just like it's a really strong title regardless. Like they could have just straight up 3D remade it, I've kept everything the same, and I still would have loved it. But all of the quality of life improvements really like just made it that much more satisfying to play. Because the original game, you know, it mapped your items to the A button and the B button. Because it was the Game Boy and that's all you had. So even like your sword, shield, things like that had to be mapped to a button, which was constantly switching things out. This game, because it has more buttons, it maps things like the sword, the shield, the Pegasus boots, power glove, like all that to their own buttons. So that means you actually don't spend that much time in a menu, and the game moves so much more smoothly. It also it looks beautiful. They didn't add anything that like detracts from the gameplay, and they added more things that like help you explore the world. Like there's more seashells. So to get the final sword, cat hair, sorry. To get the final sword, you have to get like 40 shells or something instead of like I think 25 it was originally. And I think there was like 30 instead of the 50 there are now. And the new chamber dungeon feature has gotten some flack because it's supposed to be kind of like a Zelda maker, but it's too limited to really be like a good, you know, a good time. And I don't hate it like everyone else does, but also you don't have to do it. Like, it's never required.
Unless you're a completionist.
True, unless you're a completionist. But completionists already have to do things they hate because there's no game that has everything worthwhile. There's always something unnecessary or unfun or whatever for completionists.
Glares at Sonic 3.
What?
I said glares at Sonic 3. Sorry, I hate going for the Super Emeralds in Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh, okay.
Awful.
I didn't understand the reference. But yeah, the fact, basically, like, I'll narrow this down to the fact that this is the best version of one of my favorite Zelda games. Like, any other year, it probably would have been number 1. But this is a really good game for. This is a really good year for video games. Sorry, I've had a lot of whiskey. These top 2 should be fun.
Ben.
So this is the hard one. I had top 3 games that I've talked about this year that it was really hard to decide who was going to be who was going to get the bronze medal. But the gold winners in my heart. And this is a game that when I first saw it, I was gonna like, oh, that's it. That's my game of the year. There's nothing better. What could be better? This is my game of the year. But it's number 3. My number 3 choice is Astral Chain. This is a game that when they first I don't remember. It was like sometime last year when they released it, and I was like, oh, new cool platinum game, awesome, exclusive to Nintendo. Suck it, fucking people who are salty that Bayonetta 2 is not on anything else.
Suck it, nerds.
Yeah. Buy a fucking Switch, bitch. Pony up if you want to play the games. But like, I really love this game. It's still that classic platinum feel of hack and slash combat, but the fact that you have basically familiar with you at all times, that you can switch out between different forms, brings a whole new level to the combat system. Especially once you get all the abilities, like any platinum game, once you get everything, and you feel like a fucking god. Especially when you're dodging, countering, and the story goes in all kinds of crazy sci-fi directions. And I really enjoyed the sort of police part, which I don't feel like it's talked about enough. Like, the platinum gameplay is cool, but there's something fun about in between missions. Sometimes you'll go out on patrol and you'll find a murder mystery, or like sometimes, yeah, going through doing like to the other world. I can't remember exactly what it's called. The astral plane. You're kind of doing the same thing, finding but that's what platinum games do. They have the secret hidden rooms that you'll go into.
Whoa!
Ow.
Ow! Holy crap! You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. He gets moody sometimes.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But it's that quintessential. That's platinum, and there's 2 excellent motorcycle sequences that are just like, I at the beginning I was like, I wish there were more of these, but then the fact that there were only those 2, I'm like, I'm glad there were only those 2, because those 2 feel more badass. And like I said, the story goes in all sorts of different directions. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Hold on, what? We're going here. It's not like a mind fuck, but it's just like it's it's that nice good twists and turns. I wish the only real negative I had against this game, and probably what held it back ultimately from being number 1 or 2, was the fact that the main character's a mute. Like that honestly, I think it hurt it that much to me, because there's so many emotional moments, and like, even if he has a dry personality, even if he talked a bit, would have helped. But the fact that he's emotionless and you're relying on your sister or your sibling, depending on which gender you pick, your sibling's the opposite gender. I think it would have helped in certain scenes more, like when a certain person dies at the very beginning of the game. But seriously, if you haven't played this game and you have a Switch, like, go try it out. It's fucking badass. And they've said they have plans for 2 and 3, and I think this game sold pretty well. So, hopefully, just like Octopath, this game gets a sequel. I get Astral Chain 2, which I really hope so. So, but it just missed that mark of being in the top 2. But Astral Chain is number 3. It's platinum. It's pure platinum. There you go.
My 3rd favorite game of the year is What the Golf. What the Golf is, it is what it says it is. It's golf. It starts off like innocuous, like you're just playing golf, going across this course, and then it eventually gets wacky, and it starts off really slow. Like, at first you think you're gonna hit the golf ball on the first stroke, but you hit the golfer instead, and then you have to whack him into the golf pole. And from there, it just goes on a wild ride, aping stuff from like Super Hot to Portal. It plays with your expectations quite a bit. They said there's going to be more, which is really cool. And what it is, you're going through these different courses to to destroy these computers and get to the end. That's pretty much what the goal is. But there's also like AR modes where you have to like stand up and like look around and stuff and like change your perspective and like shoot stuff. Like there's like actual shooting mechanics like halfway through the game, which is really cool. Um, it's really fun. Like it's just a really fun game to play when you have like an extra minute or two if you're like sitting on the bus or something. I highly recommend anyone to check this out. It's just a really fun game to play. Justin, number 2.
Yeah. So my number 2, possibly surprisingly, is Outer Worlds.
What?
I've been saying for most of this year that this is going to be my game of the year. But being number 2 is not a bad thing in this case. It just means that there's something I liked more.
Just because you're number 2 doesn't mean you're number 2.
Exactly. Like, really, at any given day, I could have switched my number 1 or number 2. But this is still an amazing game. So I was very vocal about, not on this podcast because I don't think it was happening yet, about how much I didn't like Fallout 4. I'm a huge Fallout fan.
I'm pretty sure you've said how much you dislike Fallout 4.
Probably. But this is everything I wanted Fallout 4 to be and more. In a way, that's a bad thing because the actual like combat and stuff in the game feels pretty dated. But in a lot of ways, and many more ways, it's a good thing because it does like that kind of choice-based gameplay and like companion quests and things like that really well. Like the best I could expect it to do. The choices you make in the game, aside from just feeling really satisfying and like you actually are making your choice rather than like just selecting dialogue options and then whatever is happening anyway. It's not like, what would you call that, bilinear? It's not black and white. Like whatever choice you make, there's like levels to that. So like the one I've been talking about is the first big choice you make on the kind of the first like main planet. And it's like about whether to divert power from one place or another. That seems like it should be very black or white. Like you either divert power from the city or from the kind of like forest settlement.
Do you want to support cannibals or do you want to support civilization?
Sure, if you want to think of it like that. But the actual choice is much more granular than that. Because, for one, you could divert power to the city and then convince the deserters to go back to the city.
That's what I did.
And you can tell them, hey, just deal with the conditions in the city. You'll be fine. Or you can tell them, what if I get rid of the guy that's there? Will you go back then and run the city? And like on the other side of the coin, you can divert power to the civilization and then tell the people, hey, you don't want to work under this guy. Go over to the deserters camp instead. And so like there's so many options. And even like if you try to run the guy running the city out of town, you can go to him and either kill him, which like then you have to fight your way out, or you can just convince him to leave. Like literally convince him that he's not the best person to run the city, and he just kind of like sulks away and leaves the city. And like so that what seems like a black and white choice actually has like 5 or 6 granulations that you can do on top of that choice. And it's like that's the perfect example of how deep this game goes. Whereas Fallout 4 feels like either saying yes or saying yes in a snarky way.
Yeah.
And like the companions actually have a lot to do with the choices you make too, because the choices you make affect them. So like they'll give you their input at any given time, and like the choices you make based on their input can mean they might leave you. Like if they don't like the choice you make, they're gonna be like, yeah, I don't think I can stay with you anymore, and you'll lose that companion forever. Or you can do something that satisfies them, and it might like open up a new quest line or fulfill a quest for them. or just strengthen your bond together. And so it's cool because it's like your party actually matters. It's not you making decisions on your own and then they just go along with it. It's you actually have to think about the people that are traveling with you, which makes sense when you have a party. Uh, and like the companions actually affect the combat because they have their own skills you could trigger, kind of like a hero shooter. Um, and then also they have like their own kind of skill trees that you can affect. And then like your like player skill tree has companion points you can put in to buff their abilities more. So like it's a viable strategy for you to not really have to attack. You can just put all your points into the companion skills to make them really strong and then send them out to fight for you. Or there's even play styles where like you actually get buffs for not having companions with you. Yeah. So like you can play this game however you want, and it's really cool. And so like the fact that it feels like a last gen game is not necessarily an insult, because it didn't need to revolutionize the shooting or the looting or anything like that. It could feel better, sure. Like the gunplay is a little chunky, the movement's kind of slow, but like it doesn't feel any older than Fallout 4 does. It just, the things it does well is the choices and the companions and the stat loadouts and like the equipment modding and that kind of thing. So it's a very good game. Mm-hmm. Like it's sold extremely well considering it's a new IP. I don't think I need to really like sell it to anyone. But I will say that in my little blurb about it, while this is my number 2 game of the year, it's my number 1 character of the year because Parvati is great. I love her.
So why did you divert the power to the outpost?
What do you mean?
She was for the city.
But she approved of the choice once. What? No, I diverted power to the city.
Okay, fine.
I diverted power to the city, and then the Reed or whatever to leave, so that the zombie queen could.
Zombie queen. That's pretty good.
But no, Parvati's great. I love her, and I know she won't love me back because she's a lesbian, but I still love her.
Oh well.
And that's okay.
It's a good thing I played as a girl then.
Oh
yeah.
Note to self: play as female when Switch port of Outer Worlds comes out. Can I make it a Game of the Year list next year? Technically.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope I like this game. I never played a Fallout game before.
Like really, the release, like the list should be when you play the game, but it tends to be like within that release year. So I mean, a port still counts.
All right. I wish I played more of that. I just fell off super hard.
Yeah, I haven't gotten back to it in a while because I haven't been in the mood for a first-person shooter. Yeah. But my time with it still matters.
Yeah. I just got off the. I literally just got off the planet and then I turned off the game.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
You pulled a Grandpa Simpson.
The space station stuff is actually really cool. Like I don't really care for the next planet you go to, and I've heard it's a pretty short game, so I will beat it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good to know.
But it's one of the few on this list I haven't beaten.
Okay.
Like I tried very hard to include games that I've beaten, so I have a full breadth of the gameplay. But I had to include that one on the list because it made such a strong impression early on.
Okay, Ben, you're number 2.
What indeed? What indeed? Only 2 remain. What indeed? It was hard. This is really difficult. I really wanted to make this number 1, but number 2 ain't bad. Number 2 ain't bad. My number 2 game of the year is Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Oh.
This is I was scared.
I forgot that came out this year.
I did too.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I've been in Fire Emblem memes and lore since ever since release. I was scared when they announced this game because I had played Fire Emblem Awakening. It was the first Fire Emblem game I played. Yes, I'm one of those people. Shut the fuck up, Fire Emblem elitist. And I fell in love with the series. I fell in love with the many anime avatars. But then I played Fates, and boy, did Nintendo know how to fuck up a perfectly like you Awakening fucking revitalized the franchise. It made it viable in North America for the first time, more so than the characters appearing in Melee did. And then they split it into 3 different games that you had to buy all 3 of them to see the whole fucking story, and it was not a good story at all because it turns out the main girl is your cousin or sister and dragon stupid. And I skipped out on I was so like burned by that game, and I only played 1 that I skipped out on the remake Shadows of Valencia, which I actually heard was pretty good. So I was skeptical, and then I heard about the school. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. And then I finally played the game, and number 1, the being able to choose your house, either Golden Deer, Black Eagles, or Blue Lions, that whole Harry Potter-esque sort of thing was really fun, and I chose the best house. Okay, all the houses are good in one way or another, right? But I feel like in terms of what made me love this game was choosing Golden Deer and having House Leader Claude, the man who I wanted to be my boyfriend, but I can't because he's not gay, and that hurts. You son of a bitch. Either way,
it's okay not to be gay.
It's okay. He's fine. Him and his wife are happy. I'm not gonna be home. Him and Hilda are happy. But no, like the one thing, and this is coming up with the actual game of the year, is that for me with games that this long, I have to become invested into these characters. That's the kind of gamer that I am. I have to find something to care about, and I love these kids. They were my kids. I was their teacher. I led them into battle. The monastery stuff to me is one of the best parts of the game because it allowed you to bond with these characters that didn't feel like battle grinding over and over again. Whether it was cooking dinner with them, singing choir with them, or just chatting with them while they're doing their rituals. It was fun. You got to know more about them. And oh my god, and the story goes in all sorts of different crazy directions. And the fact that it's basically 3 different campaigns, for the most part, there's a lot of overlap, but the fact that you get to see different perspectives and actually feels like different perspectives, because I know that because I heard other people play the other 2 houses, so I can't wait to do those at some point. Are great. Like I legit, there's a moment where, in the second half of the game where you basically are presumed dead, and your school, your kids are scattered to the wind. The Empire is taken over. It's Star Wars, damn it. And like then you go back to the ruins of the monastery where you last fell, and all of a sudden you get to see your kids again, but they're older, and it's like, my kids, my babies. Now I can sleep with one of you. Because it was unethical.
Wow.
It was unethical before. Technically, I didn't sleep with one from my house, but rather I stole one from Black Dragon or Red
Kidnapping
Dragon.
on top of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So the combat system is Fire Emblem. It's great. It's it is what it is. They made a lot of improvements that I feel like, while some hardcore purists may not like, I love the fact that if I move a square, I love that I could tell where the enemy was coming from. The music is so good in this game, and it gets you right in the mood for a battle. Even if you're grinding like doing like an optionary missionary battle, it's great. I love the introduction of monster fights in this game. So like at points, like you'll fight these huge shadow beasts, and you basically you can get your characters once you raise up their classes. They're like battalions, so you literally have like a battalion behind you that does either like you can have magicians or like straight up soldiers come and charge you, and some have special effects. It's really cool. It actually feels like you're controlling an army out there and not just, hey, we're 7 badasses coming to kick a whole army's ass, let's go. It feels great. But this is how I know I cared and I love the story and this game. When you're forced to fight people from the Black Eagle side, because they know, hey, you're back again, so we gotta kill you. And there's 2 girls from the other classes that I'm like, why do we have to fight? We don't have to fight. I didn't want to fight them. I liked them. I got to know them a little bit, and I had to kill them, and they died. Oh God, they died. Oh God. This is so perfect. I didn't think another Fire Emblem game could make me fall in love with this sort of style of game, because most of the time strategy RPGs I feel like are bullshit and they screw you with RNG, and I just don't want to deal with that, especially now that I'm approaching 30. Oh God, I'm approaching 30. But like this one's it's just so sweet.
Damn it, youngin.
Yeah, this one is so, this game is just so sweet. There's a lot of effort that went into this game to make it as well as it did, and they're adding new content with the season pass and free DLC with new outfits and new story scenario stuff. I didn't think I would say this, but I like it more than Fire Emblem Awakening. And that game I loved. Like I put like at least over 500 hours into that game.
No way.
Yeah, different routes, different relationships, different kids. The best part about this game though is they cut the kids. No fucking extra characters, no pointless kids. I just want to sleep with my student, okay? I don't want kids. I just want to sleep with my student.
You want to sleep with kidnapped students, apparently.
I mean, I recruited her.
I just want to kidnap kids and sleep with them. I don't want kids of my own.
I recruited her from the Evil Empire, okay? I recruited her from the Evil Empire. I saved her.
Uh-huh. Say whatever you will to the judge.
Anyways,
Whatever helps you sleep at night with your students.
Oh, she's hot. Anyways, we're married now. Anyways, it's so great. I love this game. I loved it. I could not stop playing it when it came out. Even though I kind of had to rush it because Dragon Quest is right around the corner. But it still didn't matter. That final battle is so cool. Like I loved it.
I wonder what your number one is.
I loved it. And I can't wait. Again, like I said, I can't wait to do the other two campaigns, just to see the different perspectives of like, you know, why did you go this way? Why are you this angry? You know, like what happened? I need to know these questions. So yeah, it almost made it. It almost made it. Literally 1 and 2 could have been swapped on my mood, based on my mood. But at the end of the day, I had to give it to. It's still that highly well praised. Like if you're new to Fire Emblem, you hear what's all the hubbub, and you see all the memes, and you know maybe the not safe for work art that I retweet all the time. You know, just try it. It's fine. It's possibly the best entry point to Fire Emblem. It's so welcoming to new players.
So my number 2 is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Finally, we get something good from Star Wars. No, as a lifelong Star Wars fan, I feel like lately I haven't been serviced. Like there hasn't been a lot of good stuff. Like the best thing that's come out since Disney acquired it was Solo. Hey man, I'm sticking with that. I don't care.
Hot
take, bro. But like when I played this, I was like, oh my god, they made something like great with Star Wars again. Just like the story, the overall story is really good. The ending's amazing. I like the just like the sound design is there for Star Wars again. The art design is there. The swashbuckling adventuring is there. They've really incorporated like Metroidvania stuff really well in this. The Dark Souls stuff is really well in this. This is the best Dark Souls game I've played. Yeah, man, and all that being said, it does feel a little bit rushed in certain spots, but I want to see what they can do with this, like with the crew going forward, because I love these characters. I want to see more from them. I want to see a little bit more like expansion on the crew idea, because it felt like they had something there with the crew idea, but it wasn't fully fleshed out yet. But again, I just love, and the surprises upon surprises. Since this is a Game of the Year podcast, we're going to talk about a little bit of spoilers. Getting the double-bladed lightsaber was freaking amazing. Came out of nowhere for me, because I went to Dathomir and went through this challenging combat and was rewarded with a double lightsaber that made the game way easier. And then also, at the end with after the final boss fight, Darth Vader comes out of nowhere, kills like your mentor, like quote unquote kills. But anyways, you think she's dead, but she comes back later. But like it was just unceremoniously, it was awesome. I was not expecting
You
Darth
have to
Vader
run
in
away
this
from
game.
them.
Yeah, you have to run away from it, and if you turn around, you get force choked and die. Uh, man, it was a really good game. I want to see more of this type of game in the future for Star Wars. And I assume Justin's number one is Star Wars.
Spoilers, but yeah, it is. My number one is Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So Thomas covered it pretty well, but I just want to touch on a few things and why this is my number one over Outer Worlds. Because like this game is far from perfect. Like I feel like it's not going to be the number one for a lot of people, but it just hit me in a way that like was so satisfying, and a lot of it is because I'm Metroid deprived. Like this struck a chord for that Metroidvania style gameplay, where like as soon as you get frustrated that you can't get somewhere, you get that power and then you go back, and I love that feeling. Because like the cow that you start with is so wimpy compared to how you end, and that kind of progression is just always satisfying to me.
Yeah.
I hate games where you don't get stronger as you play. But also, like, there's some really cool puzzles and stuff in this game. Like the temples that you go through, to get the new force powers, are super cool, and they kind of give me that like Breath of the Wild shrine feel,
Yeah.
but on kind of a larger scale because they're like big areas with enemy encounters and things like that. But also there's some really cool physics puzzles there where like you push and pull the force to like manipulate different like balls into tracks holes. Yeah. Like they're buttons essentially, like they activate things, but then like there's some really cool stuff where like you force push these like explosive plant things into walls that can be destroyed.
Yeah, it's basically having bombs from Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you'll do something where like you jump from like you do the wall running,
Yeah.
like from each side, and then you'll jump and like grab a vine.
Yeah, force
and
pull the
swing.
vine. Yeah.
Yeah, and swing from the vine to a slide and slide down that, and like there's just some really satisfying like platforming and puzzle sections in the game.
Swole to the sign.
Some of them are beholden to some pretty terrible controls, and I'm not the only one, by the way, that's had a lot of issues with the vine and sliding controls. I've been reading a lot of people that think those suck.
All right.
But like my favorite parts of the game were those kind of those more intimate like puzzle rooms and platforming sections and stuff. The stuff that's just like combat trial after combat trial, I kind of started to lose interest, because that's usually when I died a lot. And sure, you can blame me for that, but
that's where I had like the
time,
most fun, was like experimenting in the combat trials with different
there's
moves.
some great combat stuff in there.
And the animations are amazing in this game.
Oh yeah, I'm not discounting the combat in any way.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I enjoyed like the Zelda and Metroid sections more than like the traditional Souls combat, because I don't really care for Dark Souls as a series. So while I liked the lightsaber combat and stuff, that's usually when I would die more, and the loading times in that game just destroy your motivation to play. And so like if you die more than 2 or 3 times in a fight, you might as well quit, because like it takes just as much time to reload the game back up as it does to quit and come back to it later when you're in the right state of mind. But the upgrades you get in the game all feel really satisfying, and like help with the backtracking. Because I remember the first time like I had to go back to Pagoda or whatever it's called, that first planet, and I was like, ugh. There's so many of these areas that like are so hard to get around because of these stupid zip lines. And then I got the ability to go backwards on the zip lines.
Yeah.
Up on them. And I was like, this is satisfying.
Yep.
So I immediately went back to Pagoda, and I was like, all right, I'm going to 100% complete this area because I can go up all the zip lines now, and I love it.
I don't know if you remember, but there was like an item like right next to you on a different pillar, and I'm trying to figure out how to like cheese the zip line in order to get there, but it was a
Yeah,
power up
I
that you
spent
get
a
later.
while on that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh hell yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do.
And that's why I love Metroid games.
Yeah.
It's that feeling of like, how do I get that? And then you get an item and you're like, oh, that's how.
Yeah.
And it's just so satisfying as a gamer to know that you can suddenly do the thing you couldn't do before.
The droid is really cool. Like the personality of the droid
I
is
love
great.
BD1.
Yeah.
And while I love all the customization, like of your ship and BD1 and your outfit and stuff, I didn't really like the ponchos.
The ponchos were terrible.
Though, yeah, the lightsaber mods are cool to customize, but like you don't see it enough to really like justify spending so much time customizing it. So like when I got to the end of the game, I just wanted to get all of the actual like, you know, power up, like the optional power ups, like the life and stuff. Yeah. I didn't really care about the cosmetic treasures and things like that.
Early on in the game, when we were opening chests and stuff, and I was just seeing all this cosmetic stuff come out, I'm like, oh, this is all it's gonna be, and it kind of like made me disappointed.
Yeah, that stuff's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But like, so much of the game is satisfying that like it's worth the grind to find all of it. It's just fun to get there.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a lot of issues with this game. Like the graphical glitches are terrible. I had a few crashes, like some pretty bad frame rate, even on an Xbox One X. The animations and like just the graphical consistency in general is pretty inconsistent. To where like you have some super good cutscenes with like some great motion capture work, and then you go to Kashyyyk and have terrible looking Wookiees.
Not great.
To the point where you're like, okay, they could have used any planet. Like, why did they use Kashyyyk if they're not going to make the Wookiees look good?
I don't know, man.
So like, there's weird things like that, but like none of it took away from my enjoyment of the game.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. It really, like, I bought an Xbox for this game, honestly. Like, I knew there was the bundle, and I was like, okay, you know, I can get the Black Friday deal, like, of the Xbox One X bundle with this game included. That's still a $60 game. Like, it's worth it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And most of what I've played on it is that. Everything else has been Game Pass because, like, the games are available, so I might as well try them.
Hell yeah.
But I still think, I'm like, I should restart that game. And maybe play at a higher difficulty, because I was a pleb and just played on Jedi Knight difficulty.
So is that it for you?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I go a lot more in depth in the actual write-up, but that's all I really want to discuss now.
Okay.
It's a great game, and it hit me at the time when I really wanted a game like that.
All right, Ben, I'm going to give you 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. My game of the year for 2019 is Dragon Quest XI.
Yep.
Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition. S. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not a Dragon Quest fan. I didn't know what Dragon Quest was until a friend of mine who I've known for almost 10 years now talked about it very recently when they were the remix for Dragon Quest 7 and 8 were coming out, and I was curious about them, but just never pulled the trigger. And then with the release of Dragon Quest 11 last year on PS4, and then I could have bought it several times on PC, didn't. And then the announcement that we were going to get a definitive edition with new stuff in it, and of course the 2D mode, which is the ultimate draw pick, which was the initial draw for me. And little did I know that I like how much I would end up loving this game. Like I posted on Twitter, like I've beaten the game. It's at least the main game. I'll get to that other stuff in a moment. But it's a 10 out of 10. Is it the most original story? No. Does it run well on Switch? Not really. I mean, it does in frame rate, but there's some really bad pop-in at points. You know, is it the most beautiful looking game in the world? No. Is it enjoyable to play? Hell yeah, it is. It's super satisfying. It's the Dragon Quest is the granddaddy. We don't have what we have in RPGs without that first Dragon Quest 1 back in the 80s. And this, even though it stays true to that in a sense, but it has so many modern conveniences with it. You know, everybody levels up when you win a battle. All the characters are really, really fun. Like that is number one crucial for me for RPG. I have to like or become invested in these people that I'm going to potentially spend 100 hours with. I have to give a damn. This is how I am, and I did. I did all of them. I love all of them. They're great characters. They're really fun characters. They're kind of tropey, but they're still fun. They're fun in that Star Wars way. And you know, Akira Toriyama, you know, who was famous for Dragon Ball. I wish he was famous for this, because some of the creature designs in this game are so goofy and fun, and sometimes can be outright intimidating in terms of what they are. But one thing I didn't expect for a game like this, because there's like messages of me messaging my friend who's not super hard. He loves Dragon Quest, like that's his favorite game series, and just messaging him the stuff like, oh, this is happening, and like, what makes this game work is how its story is that everything's so happy-go-lucky, and that perception of nothing can go wrong. We're the heroes. We got this. So when things do go wrong or something happens, it works. It hits you in the gut because you care about what happens, or you don't believe anything will bad happen to you. I think it handled the sort of World of Ruin aspect better than Final Fantasy VI did. That's for sure. In terms of like, well, all my friends are separated. Now I got to get them back. It actually works really, really well. The combat, while simplistic, is customizable to make it how you want to play it. You can play it with having moving characters or having other characters face, like, you know, basically do Tails style, where they basically perform on a strategy thing on a command, or you could do it like how I did it, which is basically, no, you listen to me, damn it. It's super customizable how you want your characters to play based on what weapons they want. I don't like crafting in video games. I hate crafting in video games. I find it tedious. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Bloodstained. I hate it. I don't want to grind for things. But you know what I did a lot of in Dragon Quest XI? I crafted shit. I found materials. I beat enemies and I crafted. I got so many +3 armors, weapons. It's so cool. It's so fun because it's a little mini game where you like create a handle and you get new flourishes that can lower temperature, or you can hit something really long. So you can like increase like up to its like perfect point to where it'll get that +3 ranking, and the post game, like I don't want to spoil the post game because I know I spoiled some things already, but what they do with the post game is really unique, and I didn't see it coming. Thomas is giving me the wrap up signal, but like I'll tell you this, it made me a Dragon Quest. It's made me a Dragon Quest fan. Like I asked my friend, are all the games like this in terms of their charm? Because that's what's held me on for so long, is the charm of the world, the charm of the characters, the music, everything about it is just so charming. Like I said, I don't ever do post game for JRPGs. Once the credits hit, I usually stop. Most of the time I just don't do it. Here I'm doing the post game stuff. I have a dozen other games I should be playing right now. I'm doing post game shit where everything's harder now, and the enemies hit hard, and I already tried to fight a boss that I shouldn't have fought, and I got my ass kicked repeatedly. So I'm gonna go do other things and try to come back stronger. Yeah, I love this game. It's pure perfection in my eyes, and it's sometimes when you're jumping into a new franchise, you never know what to expect, right? Am I actually going to enjoy this? Am I really going to like this? I don't know. And I was kind of middling with Tales of Vesperia earlier. Like, yeah, I liked it, but I didn't become, a Tales fan. This game made me fall in love with Dragon Quest. And whatever Dragon Quest 12, whenever that comes out, who knows how long that'll be. I look forward to it. But that is why Dragon Quest 11 Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition S is my game of the year for 2019.
Just to solidify your point real quick before Thomas starts, my brother bought that game and like we were going to share it. I don't know if I'm actually going to play it or not at this point, but he 100% completed it before he felt satisfied stopping playing it.
Wow. Yeah.
Like he couldn't stop when he beat it. He had to keep going.
Yeah, it's yeah, I understand that. I perfectly understand. I should be playing Ukulele and Impossible Air, which I've started up, but I just want to go play Dragon. I want to call into work and just play Dragon Quest. That's how bad it is. I'm not doing that, by the way, but that's how bad it is. I just want to play Dragon Quest.
That's how I feel about Destiny, honestly.
Thomas, I finally understand that little kid in Yakuza 0. I just want to play Dragon Quest.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'll play Dragon Quest until Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition comes out next year.
Yeah. My number one is Control. I initially wasn't gonna get this game because it was coming out on the Epic Game Store, and I'm like, I'm trying to save money, but you know what? To hell with it. Remedy is one of my favorite game studios. Like I love Alan Wake, love Max Payne. Some of they're like my top games. So I figured I'd give Control a try, and surprise, surprise, they did it again. Um, what I love about this game is that it treats itself as its own world, and what I mean by that is like everything has a purpose. Like the jargon they use describes like um, like they have their own specific jargon to what happens in the game. So for instance, when you go into the FBI looking place, they call that the oldest house, and it's all about supernatural stuff, like paranormal stuff, and it's kind of like if the X-Files all took place inside like an alternate reality dimension. Uh, the powers are really good. There's the being able to like you like I wasn't expecting it, but eventually you're able to just straight up fly in the game. Like you can just fly around wherever you want. I love that it goes into the granular as well as the major. So for instance, there's a bunch of side quests in the game where you have to go and hunt down all these different objects of power and altered objects, and they all have their own different stories. One of the best ones is the traffic light, and you basically play red light, green light with it in order to get it under control. It's really fun, and each one of these different objects has its own way of getting to it and getting eventually getting control of it. And that's like the side stuff, which is really good. I can't wait until the DLC comes out because everyone's expecting it to be an Alan Wake thing, and that would be amazing because Alan Wake is heavily referenced in the game. The story itself between her, the main character, and her brother, all the weird different stuff. There's a bunch of FMV in this game with the Doctor in it. There's actually
Who is the voice of Alan Wake, right?
Yes, he is Alan Wake, and also he you can Google this. I'll probably put this in the show notes. But there's a straight up anime music video about what's happening in the game, and he's like on this projector like while it's going on. It's great. It's amazing. I love it. I really want more from this. Remedy's great. Go play this game. It's my number one. So with that, Justin, where can people find you?
You can find me if you look up Zero Score on Twitter or YouTube or Twitch/Mixer. I'm going to start streaming again in the new year.
Yay.
So that'll be fun. I'm hoping to do it consistently. Also, I'm actually going to put my Game of the Year list out as a video in January.
Nice.
So keep an eye out for that.
Woohoo. Ben.
You can follow me on twitter.com/MarvelSegi, where as we head into 2020, you will be hearing me nothing but talk about Panzer Dragoon Remake and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, and hopefully a Nights in the Dream remake. That is my one wish for 2020. Make it happen, Sega!
And you can find me, your host Thomas, on Twitter, CSG Thomas. Also, we're here at Kane Plays Stuff. We're also on charshot.com for audio, video, and written content. You can email me, thomas@charshot.com. Please review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. And until then, guys, enjoy your games. Have a good night. Have a good year.
Enjoy your Game of the Years. Games of the Year.
Games of
That's
the
it.
years.
Games of the Years. 2 hours, that's not bad.